automatically record it to YouTube.
Oh, perfect, perfect, cool.
So we're doing that. So let me tell you, and I think, and we are live.
Perfect, perfect.
So welcome everyone for this time we're having an AMA session with a CEO and a founder of Zamio with Ayman. We have Ayman here.
Sasha, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for the invitation. I'm actually the CBO, Chief Business Officer of Zamio, co-founder. There's another project that we're starting pretty soon. I'll probably give a little bit of glimpses what we're doing today, but thanks for the invitation, Sasha. Pleasure to be here and very excited to talk about our project and, you know, talk about the industry, where it's heading, and give you all the exclusive updates.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think we've generated a big amount of traction from both of our communities. There is actually a massive list of questions that we received prior to starting this session. Mm-hmm. And also, as a rule, how we're doing this AMAs usually with all of our guests and participants, usually the 5 best questions are the one from the live section is the one that we are receiving, that we are getting from our community who is listening, hopefully who is listening. And
they have to listen to make money, yeah?
Essentially, yes. I mean, they have to listen not to make money, but to make money in the long term, because Absolutely. Understanding what we will be discussing is very, very important for Absolutely. Both of our projects.
I was sitting actually yesterday with one of our investors who's a football player from Rubin Kazan. I don't know if you guys know the team. Anyways, so he was telling me things about our project. I was surprised. I was like, you know, you guys, you pretty much follow up everything that we're doing. And that's the right way of approaching any crypto project. To, you know, be an investor, you have to also know as much as the team, just so that you understand exactly what the team is building and where the project is heading. And, you know, this is the way investors do. They, you know, you basically support your decision making with all the information that you can collect. And when you need extra information, you always have to approach the guys from the team. With our project, we strive to be as transparent as we can, because this is one thing in the industry where, you know, the lack of transparency, you know, is one kind of obstacle towards mass adoption. And, you know, the only way we can, you know, accelerate adoption, or one of the ways that we can accelerate adoption is to bring transparency, you know, to keep our community informed exactly what's going on, what are we doing, what are the future plans, what's imminent, and so on.
I realized I was on mute. I was saying totally agreed. Yeah, indeed. I mean, maybe you can give a community while we're still waiting for a lot of people to join. Maybe you can give a little bit of introduction and your background and how you guys came up with the whole concept.
Sure. First of all, introduce myself. Again, my name is Ayman Sayed. So I'm the co-founder, chief business officer at Zamio. My background, first, I'm half Russian, half Lebanese. I lived in Canada for 10 years. I lived in the States for a couple of years. I'm an entrepreneur by you know, economist by education, entrepreneur by trade. So I've had multiple projects that I worked on, either as a founder or a contributor since, you know, the very early stages. As of today, my portfolio of different businesses that I've been involved is 5. You know, last 2 are in crypto.
I thought you would say last 2 are the unicorns.
Well, hopefully, and you know, this is what we're striving to. This is what we're striving to, Sasha, and this is what we want to build. You know, not just, you know, build a unicorn and build, you know, the next multi-billion-dollar company, but actually build companies that you know find solutions to today's challenges. You know, leverage blockchain as, you know, the new technology that's gonna put it this way, elevate the world and solve many problems that we face today. Zamio is basically an idea that was born around 2018, 2017, 2018. We believe that the world is, moving on chain. We understand the trends. We see the trends. What we want to do is to accelerate adoption of the technology itself. As of today, there's roughly about 3% of the world population that is in crypto, in the blockchain ecosystem. I mean, what about the other 97% of the world population? So we understood, what issues are impeding adoption. We mentioned about transparency, that's one, but then you have the issues like, scalability, like ease of use, interoperability.
Security.
Yeah, these are all challenges that are basically impeding massive adoption. And we know the world was going to get there at one point of time, but our task is to accelerate this adoption. We believe that, the future of finance, the future of basically everything is on chain. Why? Because, we understand what kind of efficiencies the technology brings compared to legacy technologies that we have today. So we started the idea back in 2017, 2018. We wanted to build a bank on chain first. But given that back then it was the start of crypto winter, so when we were discussing the idea, it was already kind of start of the crypto winter, and creating a crypto project, it's all about the point of entry to the market. I mean, if you enter at the wrong time, not just in crypto business, any business, if you create a great idea but then you enter at the wrong point of time, then you're kind of putting a lot of obstacles to yourself. So we wanted to build our competency as a team. So we started with something of a more traditional fintech story. So for 2 years we've been working before we started. We've been working on our traditional fintech solution, which was remittance on chain. So we wanted to build a bank for migrants. Starting here from Russia and the CIS region. So we start with a very understandable product, remittance. As of today, that project has 20,000 users that can send money directly from their cards to 50,000 physical locations across 8 CIS countries. In 2021, we felt this is the right time to revisit our original idea. So we basically restarted the idea from scratch, from the very beginning. So we gathered a team of very talented people from all over the world, starting from Russia, but we got a team now from all over the world. We revisit the idea, we rethought every single detail, what we want to do. So essentially, what we want to do, other than just onboarding, to onboard people to crypto, you need to also onboard capital and to onboard businesses, because people like to go where there's money. People like to go where they got a lot of things to do and a lot of ways to earn. So so what we want to do is onboard people, but at the same time bring capital from the traditional financial markets to the new decentralized economy that's based on chain. So how do we do that? With a whole set of products that cover a wide range of users, from institutional investors that hold basically all the money in the world, to traders that are trading daily, they want to make money on crypto, to newcomers that are hearing about the hype and they want to get a piece of this new technology and become part of the future. So what we did is, for the institutional investors, we know that today that the stock market is valued at around $95 trillion, while the entire crypto market is roughly about 2 trillion. So we can see 95 trillion compared to 2 trillion. So what we wanted to do is to move some capital from the traditional stock markets, all the way to crypto. Today, a lot of institutional investors basically hold stocks. They're stock traders, they invest in stocks. So our unique idea, our unique value proposition that we're bringing to the industry can be summarized in our project, in our product, Zed Morgan. So Zed Morgan is the world's first platform for stablecoin loans secured by stocks as collateral, where institutional investors that are holding stocks, if you tell them go and sell your stocks and get onto crypto, they would tell you, we're happy with our 5-10%, annual earnings. We're comfortable with what we do. But if you give them a platform, a bridge that would, seamlessly bridge them from, being in stocks into being in crypto, then, it's a different kind of case for them. So, we're working on Zed Morgan, the world's first platform for stablecoin loans secured by stocks as collateral. Investors basically send their stocks, via their broker. They put it in an escrow account. We pull real-time valuation of these stocks from different sources via an oracle. And we issue them stable coins. So we assume that these investors are competent. So basically what they, if they're competent in trading, in trading stocks, they can be competent in trading crypto.
Is this mainly accredited US investors, or like generally does the people need to fulfill a certain criteria to be able to get to that?
In the beginning, we're focusing on institutions. So these are, like big funds, institutional players. And then, at a later stage, we want to introduce it to the retail market. But we start with institutionals because, they hold the bulk of the money. So, we give them a platform like that where they make money in crypto while their stocks are still growing in escrow, and they're still getting dividends. So at the end of their at the loan maturity rate date, they pay back these stable coins plus a certain percentage that they have to pay in our own token ZAM. Now, this is a project that we're actively working on. The biggest challenge with a product like that is the legal questions. It's a very complicated process and it takes a lot of time. But thankfully, we have a very solid team with experience building something like that. Plus all the different legal team that's working with us. So we're confident that by the end of the year, we can show something to the world, about what we're doing with Zed Morgan. What do we have today with Zamio? So we have a universal wallet for CeFi and DeFi, where basically we give the users the option whether they want to, keep the keys with us or keep the keys with themselves. So, they can either choose CeFi or DeFi in one application. CeFi today is powered by Binance. Where we give users today, I'm not sure exactly what's the number of the tokens, 10, 12, but we're aiming to have the tokens based from all the world top exchanges in our CeFi wallet, so that rather than a person goes and registers on 10 different exchanges, he just needs to register on Zam wallet and he gets access to all the different tokens on the world top exchange. So basically we aggregate all the top world exchanges in one application. DeFi is our own solution. What we're aiming for Zam Wallet DeFi is, to have the most easy to use DeFi wallet in the world, so that a newcomer can come in and basically, with few clicks can basically enter the DeFi world and, and enjoy all the different products and services and projects that are available on DeFi. Zam Wallet in its first iterations has been out for the past 5-6 months. So next we build our staking platform. So it's part of our decentralized applications dApps. We started with a staking platform. Today there's roughly about $3 million in TVL with over 2,000 stakers. Also with our dApps, we have a cross-chain bridge. Today it operates between ETH and BSC and vice versa, with plans to add multiple blockchains in the future, in the near future also, I wouldn't say in the long term. We also have our Zed Meta board, which is our analytical platform where we show all of our on-chain data directly to our users on an easy to understand dashboard. Going back to transparency, any question with these analytics, you can instantly get in Zed Meta board and find your answers. What we're building right now, so within the next few days, we have the launch of our TrillioHeirs. So this is our algorithm generated NFT collection, and they're not just a cool piece of art. Those are
before we jumped into this, I wanted to ask one last little piece of question of how did you come up with Zam as a name?
Interesting question. Zam comes from the word Zamzam, which is in the it's the holy water in the Muslim faith. So our partner, the founder of Zam, Ilya Binyaminov, he came with the idea. He wanted, one thing is, we're talking about transparency, we're talking about, purity, we're talking about, let's put it this way. We wanted to build something as pure, as clear, as holy,
as holy water,
as the holy water.
Not bad.
Yeah, so we came up with the name Zamzam, and Zam is kind of, the first part of Zamzam. And the other interesting part that, as I mentioned, that we worked with a traditional fintech story. So Zamzam is basically Zammi and Zamio. Zamio is the crypto, our crypto project. Zammi is our fintech project, and together they create Zamzam. So
nice one.
Yeah,
because I'll be interrupting a little bit, so we cover all the questions that we have highlighted or selected from the community. Sure. Otherwise nobody will get the reward. Sure. So we've answered about the project mission, vision. You've also provided the insights on the products that you've already launched and planning on releasing. And also, I think my next question, before you dive into TrillioHeirs, the question is the following. You recently announced the launch of the your NFT collection. Can you tell us more about it and what value does it have?
So NFT collection basically is algorithm generated. So this is 8,888 NFTs in total. 8,870 are algorithm generated, and then 18 are custom made, hand drawn NFTs. And these are not just cool characters, cool pieces of art. They actually have a real utility where it gives access to unique features within our ecosystem, starting with DAO governance. So we're building our Zam DAO where voting rights and creating proposals and making amendments and changes in our ecosystem, where holders of these NFTs are going to get unique voting rights. Why did we involve the NFTs? We believe that our hardcore believers in Zam need to have a strong say in in the future of our project, of where it's heading, and what better way to showcase how much you believe in Zam, other than getting a product like TrillioHeirs and as well as staking Zam tokens. So TrillioHeirs, some of the interesting features that TrillioHeirs has. First of all, the characters are super unique.
How you come up with the design and the story?
The idea, the story, it's pretty interesting as well, because TrillioHeirs comes from trillionaire heirs. So these are the sons of trillionaires that made money in crypto, and then they unify together to build, to basically get people on chain and build the world's greatest platform. If I want to put it in short, simple words. How do they do that? They do that through ZamDAO. So, a democratic way where, they can build the platform of the future. TrillioHeirs is basically some of the features. We wanted to have, features from all over the world where we have attributes of, famous people and celebrities, and not the people themselves, but attributes from their smile to, maybe something that they carry in their hands, maybe with a hat that they draw, maybe with a symbol. So these are attributes from all over the world, from famous people across history, across sports, politics, crypto, investments from all over the world, from fantasy characters and so on. So very interesting characters. The main utilities that we're talking about right now, and because a lot of people are interested to know, why should they get TrillioHeirs today? Well, first of all, they're gonna be at their, I'm expecting they're gonna be, at a very interesting price point. So they start with 0.18, 0.15 ETH for early birds. So for the very first pre-sales. So anyone that holds TrillioHeirs, apart from the DAO part, from the voting and the governance part, they get access to seed and private rounds. Seed from, I think, the if you have third level in our launchpad. So it's very connected to our launchpad, where you get in our launchpad, we're going to have a lot of projects that we're launching. But if you want to get access to seed rounds and private rounds, you need to have TrillioHeirs. TrillioHeirs give you access to those rounds. And we all know, if you see an interesting project, how hard it is to get, to become a very early investor, or, to get on very early rounds. So fortunately, we have a wide network, tens of different funds. We have, tens of different partners. So anyways, we have a massive flow of projects, and we can, be very selective with getting the most unique projects. So if you have TrillioHeirs, you can get access, to projects, to great projects in very early stages, and get on seed and private rounds. But also you get increased allocations, a multiplier in our launchpad. So talking about our launchpad is, gonna be right after the launch of TrillioHeirs. TrillioHeirs is launching around the 21st, starting around the 21st of this month. And then, at just a week after, we're having our first project, hopefully on ZamPad. So, talking about ZamPad, there's going to be 8 different tiers on ZamPad. It's all guaranteed allocations. So while a lot of the interesting launchpads, they have interesting projects, but you can get allocations. It's very hard, and if you get allocation, you get a minuscule allocation. So we analyzed over 30 different projects from the top ones. We basically studied every single launchpad, but we focused on the top 30, and we tried to have developed mechanisms so that everyone everyone has access to projects. Over 8 years, everyone gets allocations regardless of how much you stake. It starts with 2,000 ZAMs, so you need to stake at least 2,000 ZAMs to have the first tier. If you have an NFT, obviously you get a multiplier, and you get access to the early rounds. NFTs.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the other thing with NFTs, so we have an idea to develop a game where these NFTs can battle each other. So if you have like a really cool NFT with a cool feature, and another NFT has a different, so it's interesting to see how these NFTs would battle each other in a game that we hope to develop with some of our gaming partners. Also, we wanna use these NFTs in the future. First in Sandbox, and then in the later stage, building our own metaverse. Nice. So that the TrillioHeirs can go and roam the metaverse, and and build the future together. So this is in short the NFTs. I hope the audience are listening. You can see previews on TrillioHeirs.zam.io. Something really interesting, guys. So today, there's over 20,000 on our whitelist, 8,888. So there's a lot of demand and increasing. We have people that are getting 30 NFTs and asking for 50 NFTs, but the whole process is going to go through the whitelist.
Nice one. Nice. Thanks. It's been insightful and a lot of details to process for our community that is listening. We've covered, without probably none of us noticing, we've covered the first section, which is the Twitter section. the Twitter questions that we received prior to the actual conference call. Right now, you have the document in front of you. We should focus and answer 5 questions from the live section, which is people are listening to us right now and wants to hear some more info about Zam.
So I see here that there's a question: how will the project be selected on ZamPad? Is that one of the questions that we can answer?
No. You need to scroll down.
Here we go. The live ones. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Though I want to go back a little bit on the how do we select projects for ZamPad.
Fair enough. Let's do that.
Yeah. So with ZamPad, because we want to bring the best of projects, so we get a massive flow of projects from different partners, from our advisors, from our market makers, from our partner projects, from other launchpads that we work with, from venture funds that send us projects that they think, oh, these are great. So we score them basically on 5 different indicators. The first one is the concept itself. What's the project all about? What value does it bring? Does it solve an actual problem? Is it a real solution? So this is the first indicator. We give a score. And then the second one is tokenomics. So tokenomics for any project, the biggest factor, I believe, outside of the idea itself is, how is the tokenomics of the project are designed. So if a project basically, is coming out with a small market cap, if it's very well thought of with the unlocks and the vestings, we can understand and simulate what kind of buying and selling pressure is going to be after listing. So, we want projects that bring multiple access to our users, because, this is an opportunity for everyone, to get on these exciting projects in early stages. So we want to do the best so that these projects actually, not just they bring value, but they scale and grow pretty quickly. So, understanding and simulating what's going to happen with the token after listing is something very important. So we study tokenomics very clearly, and we advise as we consider ourselves experts in the industry. Obviously, with our partners and advisors, we go very thoroughly through the tokenomics, give our feedback. So we try to bring projects, score projects with tokenomics that have the potential to fly. Third indicator is the team itself. So basically, who's the team behind the project? What's their competency? What's their backgrounds? Have they built similar projects? Can they deliver or not? And then the fourth one would be the community. So we see if the community has real traction, if people are excited about the project, if we see that the community is active, that's trying hard to go and promote the project. So this is a good indicator that a good healthy indicator that the project has a serious traction. And the fifth one is the partners. Basically, who's the VCs that invested, who's the market makers, who's the KOLs, who's the influencers.
Basically, who are the backers?
Who are the backers? Exactly. So we score on these 5 different indicators. So the projects will get the best score. We go discuss internally as a team. We also, right now, we share with a select group of people that are part of our community to get their feedback. But in the future, this entire process is going to be completely decentralized and autonomous. So, basically any project can go in, create a form, and then, this entire process from the scoring all the way to selection to the dates is going to happen automatically as much as possible. Of course, there's always going to be some sort of moderation.
Ayman, also, I think what slipped from the set of questions that I wanted to ask from the beginning is very quickly, which chains are you on?
Right now, we're starting with BSC and ETH, but we have no issues, launching on basically any chain. So the raises are gonna happen in BSC because of, cheap transaction fees, but distribution of the tokens can be in any chains, really.
Understood. Why I'm asking this is because also, I understand how Purify works and which chains do we support. So now the question is, one of the questions from our live section, from our viewers, is also which I think it was the question more for Purify, which chains are available to check the wallets. So considering that we're utilizing the systems and analytics of our B2B partners, in this case is Crystal, we are also basically can perform AML analytics on chain on those chains that are supported by Crystal. I cannot tell you who and when exactly. I mean, you and the listeners as well, but this is a hint that in the nearest future, we will be connecting one of the AML service providers. This is something that's been in the works for past 6 months. It's not something quick. There is a lot of legal scrutiny, and there is a lot of like back and forth that we need to do, but basically, we will be adding one more AML service providers in order to tap into more layer 1s and layer 2 chains. The next question that I want to ask, oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I wanted this one interesting question I see here in the list is how are we working together? So I was mentioning about Zed Morgan protocol. So, it's a product that requires a lot of Purify's expertise and knowledge. So I think this is a great project that we can work on together, whether from the points of, both of our visions is to onboard, includes onboarding institutional money into DeFi and moving from the traditional world into the new decentralized world. With Purify, basically you guys have an Oracle solution, you guys have an AML on-chain solution. So I'm pretty sure that at some point where so our partnership can build something like Zed Morgan and other similar products that can onboard not just stocks, but bring a lot of real world assets into the decentralized world. So how are we working? We're exploring different opportunities to work on onboarding, for anyone who's asking, to onboard institutional money and build mutual products. One of them can be Zed Morgan.
That's a good answer, and that's an important one because I'll explain a little bit what's the latest development on our side to the listeners. So we have recently updated our product roadmap on our website. So I encourage everyone to go and check what work the team is currently working on. We've went away from really like doing an announcements with partners who want to kind of announce, the partnership, but we rather, shifted towards focusing more on and primarily on partnerships where two systems are being integrated as we speak. So we now want to announce only the partnerships when they are ready for users to go and test them. Also, what's important is that we are expanding the technical team so we can run things in parallel, because we have multiple things that we received while doing customer development with various different entities in DeFi space for the past 6 months. We've gathered a lot of feedback. We've gathered feedback how exactly our systems are relevant, or how exactly entities, dApps, DEXs, bridges, yield aggregators are, what type of service they would need from us, and exactly understand how, what type of integration that would be. Next thing we're working on is soon we will be launching a Purify dashboard. This is more of a space for, retail community, for our investors, and a community to go and verify their wallet, like, perform a check, generate a report. Potentially we're adding in another layer of analytics where we will go into the whole Ethereum ecosystem and perform AML analytics on. Maybe this will happen. I hope that this will happen. I mean, like, if we don't have any, you know, potential roadblocks or obstacles, we want to go and really analyze all the smart contract addresses from existing liquidity pools on major DEXs. So we want to analyze that and be able to present this analytics on the dashboard for the users to kind of utilize Purify dashboard for also like analytics for getting, you know, useful information. And then the next big thing, what our team is already working on, is adding a KYC element. The KYC element is important because it's you know, automatically shifts us from just being an AML analytics company to a compliance, which is to the like making us automatically a comprehensive product that covers both KYC and AML. Then, you know, all combined, we will have a set of products for compliance, like we were saying from the very beginning.
You know what I like about your approach, Sasha, that a lot of your products that you have in mind, they can be easily integrated and become a solution to a lot of upcoming projects. So as a, you know, as a B2B solution that can basically scale other projects, and, you know, going back to the idea of accelerating adoption. So accelerating adoption by onboarding new projects and giving them actual infrastructure. So I see Purify can do a lot. Like, for example, you know, while I was going through your roadmap, I instantly saw multiple ways where Purify can basically plug and play right into our ecosystem and help us also scale. So, you know, we're all incubating a lot of projects. So I see another opportunity here is to basically provide that infrastructure that Purify is making and help a lot of upcoming new projects as well scale, just like we plan to do together with Zam. I mean, we do kind of the same thing where we try to provide also B2B solutions to other projects. But, you know, Sasha, thanks for this kind of vision that you guys have.
Yeah. Pleasure is mine. You covered. I'll retouch the point of what's Zam B2B or B2C strategy. I think we should touch base on that. I want to add a few points or a few remarks on the KYC side of business that Purify will be tapping into. From the very beginning, we had this in our architecture, but as we started working on the project, we saw that AML analytics is more kind of warmly received. Well, not from the retail investors, but like from B2B partners, at least. But right now, while we're working, already being in the market and deploying certain products and working on certain integrations, we realized that we see a growing interest from businesses to implement the KYC module, but not the traditional KYC. So we are integrating a KYC module into our product offering in a way that it will enable users to conduct the KYC and associate, if they want, the KYC metadata with their MetaMask or Web3 wallet address. And this is major because basically this is one step towards self-sovereign identity and one step towards simplicity for the users in a world of 2022 where I would say everyone would agree that strict regulation is coming to entire DeFi. There will be more and more need to verify users on different platforms.
So, and Sasha, just a quick question, because it's a very important point that you're mentioning. So when we talk to the transition from Web 2 to Web 3, Web 2, you know, with Web 3, that all of these ID elements ID elements, of a personal ID elements, can be basically integrated directly into tokens, into your wallets. So is it something that, you know, that you would do for retail and investors as well, where at some point basically you can, you know, do identity verification for basically any user on any platform directly with your solution?
Yeah, so what I was saying is that I'm a big believer that we are on a, you know, we are experiencing the shift, as you said, from Web 2 to Web 3.
Mm-hmm.
And DeFi is one thing that is just the centralizing the way we use money or the way we use financial services. The next thing that's going to shift, and it's not really kind of, you know, that's more of a, that's a detour from our main conversation, but like the main shift, the major shift that we yet going to experience is the shift from how we're storing and who owns the data. Mm-hmm. So basically, you know, the decentralization of finance is already happening. The next thing is going to be a decentralization of internet and data. Mm-hmm. And in order for that to, in order this to happen, this is going back to what you said. We need self-sovereign identity technologies or products and convenient products that could onboard the next million and next billion or next 5 billion users, mm-hmm. and basically make this paradigm shift from Web 2 to Web 3 possible. Mm-hmm. And so the simple answer is that, you know, we're working on, I would call it as a middleware on top of the KYC and on top of the ML. And the middleware is like a brick on top of the two columns, mm-hmm. that connects basically, that makes a convenient service for both retail users and B2B partners. Mm-hmm. And of course, the end goal is, like you said, that this is why this is exactly where we click. The end goal is to facilitate the true mass adoption to onboard institutional money into DeFi. Mm-hmm. What's missing is the clarity and understanding what's going on inside liquidity pools, mm-hmm. How much clean and not so clean assets are being circulated without people knowing it. And obviously, like, we are hearing that 2022 is going to be the year where all the regulators around the world are on a mission to find ways how to regulate DeFi or what's happening under the hood of DeFi. And for us, this is, you know, this is something that we envisioned. We understood it's going to happen, and now it's happening. So we're working hard to deliver the set of products that our partners are waiting, because we're in talks with traditional finance, hedge funds, and, you know, VCs that wants to deploy capital into DeFi through Purify. So they're working on being able to be onboarded. So I think there is a lot of intersections between what we do, and also you guys launching a launch pad and understanding the need of you know, compliance within this space is very important. Mm-hmm. Not many launch pads, mm-hmm. think that this is important yet, and not many launch pads are in a rush to integrate what's the first product that we launched. Mm-hmm. So this is why we're excited. Yeah.
I want to add one thing where I also see a use case, because we also work with, you know, on the traditional fintech aspect of our business, we work with a lot of banks that also would require a service like your line of products to basically get into crypto while being fully compliant. So, you know, I see the opportunity here as well is for the traditional institutions, you guys kind of giving them a tool where they can transition into DeFi without, you know, because we know how banks work. Banks are very sensitive to regulation, where in crypto, it's much more kind of, you know, much more lax environment on that. And this is changing. I mean, are you located, by the way, Sasha, in Russia?
In Ukraine.
In Ukraine. So yesterday,
I mean, in between. Ukraine and UAE, Dubai.
And UAE. We're located right now in Russia, and yesterday we had the law on crypto in Russia, which is kind of a huge push forward. And we're very happy to have lobbied for multiple laws around here, because we need that clarification as well. But we can lobby as much as we want. We can have all the laws in the world, but if we don't have the tools that would satisfy the regulators, so what's the point? So what you guys are bringing is these set of tools that would satisfy the regulators, and at the same time would provide these, let's call it bridges that would onboard these institutional today banks and exchanges and institutional investors and so on, and get them into DeFi. By the way, just an interesting question as well. How did you guys come up with Purify as a name?
I think the basic answer is it's a combination of pure and DeFi.
Mm-hmm. So pure DeFi.
Yeah. I mean, purity, more focusing on purity and cleanliness of assets and liquidity. Mm-hmm. And that's that. It's not the air purification product.
Yeah, I hear you. I like, but because you asked me about Zamzam, I'm telling you about the clarity and the purity of the Zamzam water, and you're telling me about. So I see a natural synergy here, and also we have two mutual advisors and friends, Serge and Vilma. So we're kind of from the beginning. We have a lot of things that are mutual. Just before continuing the questions on Twitter, where do you see the entire industry today? How far do you think we are from the peak of the bull run? Or are we still in the bull run?
I don't think so.
You think that we're in the bear market already?
I think we're in the bearish. That's me. I don't give investment advices, and don't treat this as the smartest opinion out there.
And not financial advice.
Yeah, disclaimer.
Disclaimer, absolutely.
So I think we're in the bullish, bearish, short-term bearish cycle. Hopefully things will pick up. Looks like the Bitcoin is hopefully found its bottom, so Bitcoin is in a bearish cycle. Maybe all the altcoins are not. I hope that we are in a bullish cycle. I'm an optimist, so I want to believe that this is what's happening.
I wanted to ask this question because I ask a lot of our friends and partners about this. Where do you think we're standing right now, just to see the their feelings on how this works. I think that we still haven't reached the peak yet, and also this is not financial advice. This is my own personal belief. I think that we still have the best is yet to come, hopefully. And every time that Bitcoin goes to new heights, we see masses of people that are coming into the industry. So hopefully we're in kind of we're just getting ready for takeoff, and all of what happened in the past couple of months was just testing our nerves and getting us ready. But I think that there's a lot for Bitcoin to come, and I think there's a lot for Bitcoin to go through before we get the mass adoption. But thank you for your frankness, because I see a lot of people in the industry to the moon. We're going. I was like, guys, let's approach this from a very pragmatic kind of approach. So I treat this as a project, as a developer in this industry. I always focus on the product first. Focus on the product. Never focus on, things can happen in the industry, but as long as you're building the product, you're gonna bring value to all of your users, to all of your community, to your investors, and leave a good, bright, spot in history. Sasha, so I guess let's continue with our questions.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
there was a question pending on what I wanted to explore as well. Quickly touching base for Zam. Is it mostly for B2B or B2C? Or if one of those, explain
yeah,
a bit the nature behind it.
So Zam, as I mentioned earlier, is, we want to onboard people, money, and new projects. So our line of products covers both. So for example, we're building, our wallet is for basically retail investors. Our investment portfolios, are for retail investors, but at the same time for traders that are gonna create these portfolios. Our, for example, cross-chain bridge is a solution that can be used both by regular users, by retail, investors, regular users, but it can be also provided as a B2B solution. We already had this, with one of our partner project, where they needed a bridge, and on the fly we're able to give them our infrastructure, integrate them into the bridge, and give them APIs so that they can create their own front end. We also have multiple proposals to basically white label our wallet, or basically help projects fork our wallet to satisfy their own requirement. So we are basically what we do is we build blockchain infrastructure. Let's put it this way. So, certain products are used by users, certain other products are basically designed so that they can be provided as infrastructure for other projects. So it's a mix of both, and we already have significant revenue from kind of both worlds, and it's growing. One thing, what a model like that allows us is to be sustainable in terms of revenue, where we're getting revenue from multiple different sources. So this would allow us to grow the project rapidly, expand our team, expand our resources. And as as you guys are also located in the Ukraine, I know for a lot of the former Soviet Union countries, it's very efficient. There's a lot of talent and it's very cost effective. So, projects like us can build, a lot of times that I get, questions, how are you guys are building something huge and it's hard and it's a lot of resources. I was like, yeah, we have it, we have 51 full-time team members and we have 30 freelancers. We can afford to do so because we can be very cost effective in here with a very low burn rate. So, while other projects in different parts of the world would require, 4 or 5 times as much as it costs us, we can afford, to build such great, massive projects and have some of the best talents in the world, because, there's a massive talent pool in the region where, in the region that we're working with.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Totally agreed. I mean, we do have a distributed, decentralized team. We have people in Europe as well, in Western Europe, Central Europe. But you're absolutely right. I mean, even though the latest, the spike in DeFi also created the hype around all the Solidity developers, and the prices went like
insane,
tripled. But hey, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in general, that's pretty much the case.
We found a lot of talent, by the way, not just in the former Soviet in terms of developers, but in countries like India, like Brazil, like the Middle East, a lot of talent, even Africa. And it's we always thought that it's a good idea to give guys from all over the world the opportunity, to build the space, to showcase their talent, and be part of this revolution that we're part of.
Absolutely. And I think the last question before we finish this AMA, I wanted to ask you basically a question about partnership and collaborations.
Sure.
Like, can you list some of your partners and explain what are the sweet spot of partnerships?
Sure. So we're today partners. God knows how much, hundreds of different projects. Each one does cover, cover a certain aspect of what we're building and what we're doing in the future. From, from partners that are providing us infrastructure, like technology partners. One of them is Binance via the broker program. We have, partnerships with multiple funds that we work together. I can go through a whole lot, a big list. But what's the point of partnerships? Well, again, partnerships allow to expand an ecosystem very quickly in terms of, different projects collaborating on certain pieces of products. For example, we wanted to build a game for our TrillioHeirs NFT. So instantly we found we got 4 different gaming partners, one that can cover metaverse, one that can help us with the actual game design, one that can help us in actually promoting the game itself. So if we wanted to go and gather a team that can develop all of this, that's a separate project by itself. But if we leverage partners, and we have different models that we can work together, from profit sharing to basically paying for the services, to having cross serves where we give them a certain service, they give us a certain service back. So this allows to basically deploy products very quickly, and not just deploy them but also scale them. The launchpad, for another example, we couldn't do the launchpad without our partners, because we had partners sending us projects. We had other partners that were investing in these projects. We have third partners that were marketing for these projects. So we had basically an entire infrastructure that leveraged, a massive network, and boom, next thing we're looking at the numbers, we have something very interesting on our hands. For Zed Morgan, for example, if we can't find the right solutions with oracles, the right solutions with KYC and AML, then how are we going to develop that? So with Zed Morgan, not just that we found this list of partners, but also people had similar ideas and concepts and expertise that were telling us, okay guys, so in this particular aspect, it's better to do it this way, and here's a solution for you guys. Boom, next thing, boom, we kind of saved ourselves several $100,000 and 3, 4, 5 months of development, because there's a solution. So partnership, a lot of projects do just partnership just to do co-marketing and expose their community.
Exactly.
But I see, yes, this is a value. This is a value because it's also a great value, because you can introduce communities to projects that are actually interesting and exciting. But the bigger value is actually what we guys are building together, because right today, everyone that's in the space, we're talking about a very tiny fraction of the global economy today. So if we believe the future is on chain, this very tiny part of the global economy will have to work together. So while we compete, but we also work together, we'll have to work together, right? So that we can actually become the big whales in the new economy. I was talking yesterday with basically one of the biggest names in the industry. I don't want to go in, but it starts with the second letter of the alphabet. But anyways, we strive to be like them in the long term. We work with them already, but so technically they're the competition. They're the competition in the long term. But at the same time, today they're not, because they see if this industry expands, they're going to expand as well. We're going to expand massively as well. So it makes sense where, for the small parts of the partnership where we can bring them value and they can bring us back value, it makes sense to partner. Okay, help us with these certain aspects. We help you with these certain aspects. It's a win-win. People will come in because they see things are working. They see, when you have a product that does one thing but can't do the other thing, you know, what user would come in and say, okay, so it's still not as good as what they experience today with Web 2 and the traditional solution. But when they see an ecosystem that is integrated, where everything works together, just like the financial world, the traditional financial world, they will use it because it's much more efficient, it's faster, it's much more convenient, less bureaucracy, and you know, it's permissionless. So boom, you can just get in and that's it. No one's gonna. So that's why we firmly believe we want to partner with the best in the world. And you know, all of our partners were saying, guys, with Purify, you have to partner. You can find lots of avenues to work together, and we will find these avenues to work together. I'm pretty sure
music to my ears.
You know, I say it as it is, and you know, we're also gonna be more than happy to, you know, with the projects that we incubate, with the different solutions that we have, also to contribute to your ecosystem and, you know, help you grow and scale, and you know, showcase what a great technology both of our projects have and what kind of value that we bring to the world. So, you know, for all of the listeners, for all the viewers, you know, make sure to be on board Purify, make sure to be on board Zamio, because you know, we're looking very far ahead, and you know, we're coming out with solutions today that will, you know, bring value to the world, but at the same time, the vision that we have long term is something astronomical. Sasha, thanks a lot for this conversation. I really enjoyed it. And I hope, you know, our audience also enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward also to have our conversation with our community. I'm pretty sure they would be very happy to hear from you and, you know, showcase what you guys have. And, you know,
we'll do one.
And then introduce, I want to introduce, you know, the people will be very happy to hear, you know, what we can do together, you know, on a product like Zed Morgan, and how we can also help other projects grow and scale.
This is something that we have, you know, interesting plans for the nearest upcoming future.
Absolutely.
While might be in the bearish or whatever cycle,
we're in the bull market, brother. Have faith.
Doesn't matter in which cycle we are. In reality, it's important to have a heads down into the product development and focus on the growth.
Absolutely.
So again, Ayman, also thank you. It's been pleasure. I really enjoy the conversation and the fact that we click on so many levels of understanding where the whole space is moving and why is it important to embrace and emphasize this whole new set of principles that are inevitable.
Absolutely.
This is great. Thank you, buddy. And
thank
really,
you,
I'm
Sasha.
really excited.
And I have a suggestion. Since you're probably gonna be in Dubai on the conference so maybe we can bring more partners on board and have a panel where we show our communities basically how all of this can work together, right?
Let's talk about this offline. I like that.
Absolutely.
I will be in Dubai soon. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Let's talk about it. Ayman, thank you very much.
Have a good one, Sasha. Thank you guys for all the watchers, listeners. It's been a pleasure.